All right, everybody. Welcome in and welcome back. Season 4, episode 22, aka our 133rd show. Andy, this might be the most soccer we cover in 1 week all season.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So much happen on I guess yeah, because we had a couple. United had a couple games this week. How many did Barcelona have?
Barcelona had a couple as well. One Copa del Rey, one league game. We have all of the second leg of the knockout stage for Champions League. So this is a lot.
Whoa. All right, let's get into it because let's get into it.
Let's dive right in. So over the weekend, Saturday, Barcelona played Villarreal, who has been the surprise third place team this season. So Barcelona looking to take a victory, kind of cement themselves into first place here. And that we did just that. A very good 4-1 victory over Villarreal. And it was one of those games where it was back to Barcelona football. It was back to more dominant Barcelona football. So recent weeks, as I'm sure you've heard me say, Andy, it's been a struggle. Barcelona hasn't been as dominant. They've been winning, but not as dominant as they were earlier in the year. And this was just like back to vintage Barca. And Lamine Yamal had his first ever hat trick for Barcelona, the senior team, which is super exciting. I mean, the fact that we're celebrating an 18-year-old. And I love this, Andy. He hit the 1, 2, 3 Lionel Messi hat trick celebration.
Wow.
Which was super cool to see. I mean, I was just like, yes, Lamine, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just love a good celebration. Love a good wholesome celebration.
And simple, wholesome homage to Messi. Like, you gotta love that stuff.
Yeah. So, that's great, man.
Yeah. Lewandowski added on a bonus goal at the end, and it was just much better. And it wasn't perfect. We gave up a goal. It wasn't perfect. We looked vulnerable at times, but it looked better. Pedri came back a little bit more in that second half, which was great to see. So that was Marc Bernal has been playing great. We'll get to Bernal in a minute, but just better. I will say the injury bug is coming back, Andy, and it's not great.
Don't say that.
Frankie De Jong is going to be out.
You can't do that when your performances are back to improving. Like
I know. Frankie De Jong is going to be out a couple of months with I think a hamstring injury, which is really unfortunate. And then we'll get to more injuries here in the Copa del Rey game. So Barcelona, still in first place after their win against Villarreal. So then we move on to the Copa del Rey yesterday. And we were down 4-0 in aggregate from that first leg, in case you listeners forgot. So that means Barcelona has to score 4 goals to tie, or has to have 4 more goals than Atletico Madrid in the second leg to tie, 5 more to win outright. So Hansi Flick said before the game, our goal is 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half. Break it down. First half, short corner to Lamine. He goes by the Atletico Madrid winger with ease, squares the ball in the box. No one's on Marc Bernal. Marc Bernal scores. So that's in like 35th minute. And then right before halftime, Pedri plays a really nice 1-2 with Bernal. Or no, Torres. I'm sorry, it was Torres. And gets taken down in the box. Penalty. Rafinha converts the penalty right on the stroke of halftime. So Barcelona is 2-0 to the good going into halftime.
Yeah.
And Atletico Madrid had chances, both first and second half. Close calls. Joan Garcia had to make some nice saves. Posts on a couple of occasions. So we were hanging around by the skin of our teeth at times, but we didn't give up a goal. And that's exactly what we needed to do to not make us have to score more goals. So in like the 75th minute, Marc Bernal on a beautiful ball in from Joao Cancelo. And Bernal on the replay, Andy, was onside by like 2 inches. It was crazy close. I thought he was off from what I could tell. But barely onside. He gets another volley goal. Weak foot, left foot. Like Bernal scores a brace, which like could not have ever guessed that. No one's putting money on that. So Mark Bernal at this point has 4 goals in his last 4 games,
Yeah,
which is
he's on
crazy
fire.
to think about
Mm-hmm.
for a defensive, typically defensive holding midfielder. He scored 4 goals in 4 games.
Hmm.
So, I mean, the crowd is going crazy. The team's in a fervor. Ronald Araujo comes on in the game because Lewandowski unavailable in the Villarreal game. He got shoulder checked. By the way, no call. He got shoulder checked in his orbital bone on his
Oh,
left side and fractured his orbital bone.
oh, isn't that like on his face,
Yeah,
like his
right here.
orbital bone?
Yeah,
Jeez.
right under the eye.
Oh God.
And so he was unable to go because he was still recovering from that. And they have to make him a mask. He's gonna be playing with a mask now to protect that bone. And so he wasn't available. So we had to put on Araujo because 2/3 of the way through the game, Hansi Flick had to put on Danny Olmo for Ferran Torres because he wasn't doing anything in the game. We had to get more offensive presence. But Danny Olmo's not a vertical threat in the box. So we had to put on Araujo to try to give us that vertical threat.
Sure, sure.
So and we're pounding away, just trying to break the door down. And to no avail, unfortunately. Just came up 1 goal short. And so in Spanish, it's called a remontada. That's a comeback. And so it was the remontada came up just short. But man, I'm just so proud of this team. I'm so freaking proud of this team, man. The effort, the heart, the way that the crowd was into this game. It was honestly one of my favorite games I've watched as a Barcelona fan.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though it ended as a loss on the 2-game tie, it's just watching when the final whistle hits, over half the players from both teams collapse on the ground in exhaustion. It was one of those games where both teams are just giving everything, and it was a great game, and I'm so proud because we could have rolled over 4-0 down. Your odds of coming back are so low, but there's a chance. There's always a chance. And like Fermin Lopez hit the crossbar with like a minute and a half into the game. He was
Yeah,
inches
that's a
away
lot.
from putting Barcelona 1-0 up super early. There were chances Barcelona had, missed chances here and there. Torres had a volley that probably should have ended up in the back of the net. You look at the first game where Kubarsi's goal is called back after a 7-minute VAR decision, which I still think was BS. I don't know how they determined it was offside. I don't think it was clear enough that they could determine it.
Yeah.
So, there are just so many things you could look back and say, what if, right? There
Sure.
was, a potential for a second penalty late in the second half where Rafinha's going up for the header. The Atletico Madrid player does not make a play on the ball, just cuts Rafinha out from underneath him. Definitely enough contact that it could have been a penalty, but referee doesn't call it. It's one of those things where, you can go what ifs. I also look in at one point the fouls were 8-2 in favor of Atletico Madrid. And I'm like, it was one of those things where the referee he was letting so much go, and that favors Atletico Madrid because they play a more physical, take you out sort of style of game.
Yeah.
And so, what if's there, right? What if the referee is more stingy with his calls? Does that lead to more yellow cards, and then Atletico Madrid has to watch their step more? A bunch of stuff. But all in all, putting all of those storylines aside, I'm just proud. I'm so proud to be a Blaugrana. I'm proud to be a fan of this team, not a part of this team, a fan of this team. And I wouldn't want
if
it
you're a
any other
fan,
way.
you're a part of the club. You are a part of the club. So
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, great performance. Obviously, we would have hoped to have done better in the first leg, but I think it gives us great momentum going into this meat of the season. We're into March now. Like, this is the time to, show up. Show up or show out.
This is the big month, right? Because after this, it's only 2 months or a month and a half
and a half. Yeah,
a month and a half to the end of the season. So it's coming down to it. So this is the time where there's no mess ups. You had the mess ups in the first half. You had a little bit of maybe soul searching in February, but now come March, kind of kind of like a college basketball team that we both support, marches when it matters.
Yep.
So like
Yep.
once they figure that out, then yeah, they have to figure it out. So, but
Yeah.
it's good they're getting their performances back. That's big. That's big.
Yeah. I do want to make one more note. So in the 11th minute, Kounde went down with a hamstring injury, and then Balde, who was eventually his replacement, got injured 68th minute with a hamstring injury.
Oh,
So it
no.
looks like they're both going to be out about 4 weeks, which is really unfortunate. Really bad timing.
Again with the defense.
I
Injuries to
know,
the
man.
defense.
I know. I mean, luckily Joao Cancelo's been playing well, so we're going to have to find, you know, Gerard Martin's going to have to go to left back, and then you shuffle in between Araujo and Eric Garcia in the middle. You know, it's one of those things where somebody's going to have to step up.
Yeah. Someone's got it's got to be the what do they say for the Detroit Lions, like next man up.
Yep.
Like it's got to be one of those where you just slot in, and
Yep.
hopefully how Hansi Flick set up the team and how he set up the club culture in there is they will step up to that, and it's not a huge jump for this to happen. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hope
I
that
mean,
continues, man.
I just hope it doesn't bite us in the butt come Champions League time. You know, because that bell is tolling. It's off in the distance, but it's getting closer. And you know, we're gonna have to play. But we'll get to Champions League in a minute. Talking about that. So, Andy, again, just super proud of this team. Couldn't be happier. I mean, I could be because we could be in the final of the Copa del Rey, but that aside, the little bit of bittersweet disappointment with that, couldn't be prouder.
Yeah, and hopefully it's just one of those where yes, it would have been nice to have won the Copa del or getting further in the Copa del Rey, but in the grand scheme of things, if this means you beat Real Madrid because you have an extra time of rest a little bit,
Yep.
To edge them out there and progress further in the Champions League, then that's kind of to me that would be almost more worth it. But
yeah,
that's a different story. United right now is just trying to maintain Champions League and trying to stay in the Champions League, and they took one step forward and then a step back, I'll say, this past week. Like if we did this podcast yesterday or the day before, I would have been in such a different mood. Because
no wonder you see a little bit more. You seem a little bit more docile, a little bit more.
I mean, that's
tempered.
just I'm running on like maybe 5 hours of sleep the past maybe couple days. So
that's fair. That's fair.
That's where I'm at personally. But then couple that with what happened in the game today, different story. But we'll go back to the weekend. United facing Crystal Palace at home, and usually I kind of think of it as whenever we're going up against Crystal Palace, they're always a test of a good team, like a good side
100%.
that's just a well organized team, so to speak. And starting the first half, really slow, kind of lacking ideas, not. I think honestly, it was even a struggle to string like passes together.
Mm-hmm.
Just things looking off, which is kind of been a little bit of a thing we've noticed where it's been a little bit more of a struggle for us to kind of have a control on a game, and getting bypassed really way too easily in midfield, and that started to show. However, second half rolls around. We start on the front foot, and at that point, big thing in the game, we're down 1 goal. Bruno Fernandes plays a pass into Kounde, and Kounde lets it roll and continue into the penalty box, and he is grabbed by a Crystal Palace defender. I think it was McCroy, and McCroy continues his hold on Kounde into the box, and Kounde goes down. Referee goes over, penalty. VAR looks at it, confirms penalty, also gives red card. So we get a penalty. Bruno Fernandes converts it, thankfully, past Dean Henderson. And then I want to say maybe like 10, 15 minutes later, Bruno Fernandes again finds Benjamin Šeško with a lovely, I want to say like early cross into the box. and Šeško just rises like a seasoned center forward and nods it past Dean Henderson. So we go up to one better second half. And unfortunately, Paul, we're at that point of the season where, because we've won so many games in a row and had having good things happening, I kind of equated this to a superstition that I had, where I had to make sure that I'm having a cup of black tea when I'm watching United, because every time that I have done that and have either had in the first half or the second half, we've ended up winning or getting our tying goal for it. So ended up doing that for Crystal Palace, and that changed the game, I thought. So come today's game against Newcastle, tough game. Newcastle are always very physical. They're a very physical team. Did not do the superstition for myriad of reasons. So obviously that's why United lost in my head. But just an ugly game. For the amount of times that Newcastle talk about being so physical, they love to flop on the ground. They love being physical up against United. But as soon as they have the ball, they'll go down like a sack of potatoes. Might remind you a little bit of Atletico Madrid in a sense, which is
more like Real Madrid, but yeah,
we're Real Madrid in that sense, yeah. Yep. So yeah, and funny enough, there's also a red card in the game where it was a soft red card, where it was a simulation by one of their players. I think it was Ramsey. He goes down after trying to sell a foul for Senelamans coming out to try to stop an onrush onto goal. So we're down. So they're down 10 players. You would not have noticed it in the entire game, and or the second half, because the red card came in the end of the first half. You would not have noticed it at all. Just completely out physicaled by Newcastle. Newcastle United. Which is just disappointing. So again, just lots of signs of things we saw with Amorim, things we saw in the past with this team, where if you ask us to try to control a game, we can't do that. We can hit you on a counter, but only if you want to play with the ball and we can stay compact, and then we can pop and hit you on breakaways. That's the only way we can do it. So just listening to a lot of people, fan groups that I follow, different fans that I follow on Instagram, it's kind of the same of lack of ideas from our creative output from Bruno, Kounde, Bumo, all kind of had, I think, just bad games. Lack of control in the midfield, which I include to be like our left and right backs, not being able to find passes and things. So just kind of the ugly heads of our lack of physicality and lack of creativity are coming back to bite us, I think. So it's either that or I gotta get back to having tea for each of my matches. So that's where we're at. So we're still in third place, so I can't get too far ahead of myself, but we do need to work on this, because we are not going to be able to sustain third place if we can't get our performances back up to a higher level. So that's where we're at. So
got it.
League check. Let's check out the leagues, Paul.
Germany.
Bundesliga had Der Klassiker, and like the Der Klassikers of the past, it usually ends in a Bayern victory, and this one was no different, but in a 5-goal thriller.
It was.
Dortmund came first, rearing out of the gate, getting a goal within the first 20 minutes. Bayern end up taking 2 back. Dortmund responds, and Kimmich, I want to say, gets the last word and seals the deal for Bayern Munich. So what that means is Bayern are now 11 points clear at first at the top of the table. heading into the other two spots in the top four. Hoffenheim end up actually losing to St. Pauli. They lost 1-0, putting things a little bit in jeopardy. While Stuttgart, I say wallop Wolfsburg. Let's say it was a 4-0 walloping. So
Yep.
what it looks like now in Bundesliga, Bayern with 63 points, Dortmund with 52. Hoffenheim still ahead of Stuttgart. They're level on points, but Hoffenheim have 2 goals in their favor in the goal differential. So that's a tight one. If it's the top 4 that gets the Bundesliga in, Hoffenheim and Stuttgart are sitting pretty. But if it's just top 3, Hoffenheim are going to be sweating.
Yeah, I mean, Andy, I think you can just crown them at this point.
Yeah,
just crown
them.
Bayern.
Yeah.
Yep.
Works well for their Champions League in a sense. We might, although in the past it's not always worked out. Usually it helps to have a little bit of parity in your league to kind of keep the edge when it comes to Champions League. But hey, this is what Bayern would want, to rotate players, get people healthy. This is what they're hoping for. So that's what's going on in Germany. Paul, what's happening in Spain?
Oh, I'm a happy boy. Happy boy. Real Madrid went AWOL against Getafe. They went AWOL 1-0 with a red card late in the game. It's just, I mean, it didn't end up mattering because the goal was already scored at that point. But Andy, they just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It really is. I mean, to be fair, they're missing some key people. Mbappe has been battling a knee injury on and off throughout this season, right? But when you're going up against the 11th place team in the league, and at this point they were probably tied for like 12th or 13th going into the game, Andy, you got to get a result. You're at home against a mid-table team in a title battle where it's close.
Yeah.
And you can't muster a goal?
Yeah.
It just, I'm smiling year to year. Yeah. I'm year to year, man.
Because you know what they say when Real Madrid can't get out of their own way, don't even help them. Just let them do their thing. They'll figure it out. Do their
thing. Yeah, Vinicius was crying the whole game because, I mean, he got a little bit of rough treatment and none of the players were getting yellow cards, but it was literally a different player that fouled him like 6 times in a row. So the referee literally, when that 5th or 6th tackle happened, he literally went like pointing to the different players on everybody had 1 foul. He's like, I'm not giving a yellow card to each of these guys for these fouls. None of these are yellow card worthy. And I'm not giving accumulation because it's a different person each time.
Yeah.
So it's just, man, it's just funny. But I mean, they're in trouble. I'm going to say it. They're in trouble. When they don't have Mbappe, especially, like they don't have enough to consistently beat teams that they should be beating. Like Mbappe is their offense. He is their team. If he's not there, they don't have enough because they're not a team. If they played as a team, they would beat these mid-table teams. They'd be better than they are in the league right now. It's just they cannot play as a team. They cannot find a way. They're too individualistic, too interested in what they can do personally for their brand, for themselves. They're not playing as a team. Yeah. And it shows. So, yeah.
So someone's happy. Paul's happy. So, Paul, you are happy.
Man. All the Barcelona fans, we're happy as clams. Happy as clams. So
Great.
Yeah. Atletico Madrid, before they faced off against Barcelona, they ended up taking the leisurely route, beating, who was it? Give me 1 second. It was Real Oviedo, who is not a great team.
Yeah.
Real Oviedo is last place in the league, and it took them up until the 90 plus 4th minute to get a goal from Julian Alvarez to barely get them past Real Oviedo. But hey, a win's a win. 3 points is 3 points. So what that means with Barcelona beating Villarreal, Barcelona's in first with 64. We've restored our 4-point cushion over Real Madrid, who has 60. Atletico Madrid on goal differential now into third with 51. Villarreal with 51 as well, but down
close
on goal differential.
Behind. close behind
Yes.
on that. So
Yep.
yeah, a little bit on the two ends of the top four to kind of see who's going to win and then who will just kind of
Yeah.
stick in to
Who's in
stay
the
in the
Champions League? Yep.
champions. Perfect. Well, if we want to head over to Italy, Paul, Inter, surprise, surprise, extend their their 7 game win streak into 8 matches
Wow.
with their win over Genoa. AC Milan dunk on Cremonese like Roma did last week. Poor Cremonese just getting walled by the big boys. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know if Jamie Vardy is enjoying that much, but you know he's the master of the crap housery, so he might be getting
Mm-hmm.
what's coming to him there.
Yep.
Roma faced Juve in this past week's matchup, and
Whew.
6 goals were scored in the game, 3 for Roma, 3 for Juve. So
Wow.
it ends in a 1-1 draw. Or sorry,
Mm.
it ends in a draw with the goals canceling out. So what this looks like in the top four is Inter with 67, Milan 56, Napoli 53, and Roma 51.
Mm.
Yep, kind of like I think with Bayern, you can crown Inter at this point.
Yeah.
I don't see Milan catching up. Well, it's theirs to lose, and I don't see them losing even if they dip. I don't think there's
Yeah.
enough time for the other teams to other teams aren't strong enough to overtake them there. But
Yep.
then we'll skip over Serie B, head into Serie C, and Cosenza get a come from behind victory against Sorrento,
Wow.
going down a goal initially in the first half. They're able to level it up. They go down again in the second half, but then 2 late goals gets them the victory that they needed to maintain pressure and stay in that top echelon for Serie C. So
Mm.
good weekend for Italian soccer, or at least if I'm rooting for Italian with for my teams in Italian soccer. So, Paul, why don't you dabble in the Premier League and share what has happened in that very, very lucrative Premier League?
Sure. So you had Arsenal barely beating Brighton 1-0. City take a little step back, drawing Forest 2-2. Aston Villa got pummeled by Chelsea 4-1. Not great for
Yeah,
them.
that
And
City
then,
draw is actually pretty big because that now means Arsenal have a 7 point cushion with a
yep.
game in hand.
Yep.
Or sorry, City have a game in hand, but it was looking really dicey after Arsenal drew with Wolves earlier
Yep.
the past weekend. So
Yep.
I think that's a pretty big result, City,
Yeah,
because
I think it is for sure. Because,
yeah,
instead of it being, 2 points potentially,
mm-hmm.
since City still has one more game to play than Arsenal, it's, 4 points
Mm-hmm.
if City wins the game that they technically have in hand, right?
Yeah.
So, it's going to take a little bit more. It's not one, it's got to be 2 slip ups from Arsenal,
Yeah.
So,
Well, and City and Arsenal face each other, but guess what sandwich in between the week that in between Arsenal week for City?
I'm guessing it's Champions League.
There are 2 Champions League matches.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah, and you know who City plays, right?
Yeah, Real.
Yeah,
Madrid.
Real Madrid. Yeah, so it's not a walk in the park by any means. So
No.
yeah, that's super interesting. And speaking of Wolves, Andy, Liverpool, man, losing to Wolves. Wolves are doing their best to crawl out of the basement. I don't think they're making it out of the relegation zone. But
I think they're definitely going down, but they're still killing giants. They don't care who they're bringing down with them.
Yep, exactly.
So they're still kicking. So yep. So what does that now look like, Paul, for the Premier League?
Sure. So Arsenal with 67 points, again, with one more game played than almost everybody else in the league. City with 60. United into third place, Andy. You look so happy about it.
Oh my God.
Hey.
I refuse to turn into Arsenal and be like, oh my God, we're top 4. We're having such a great season. I mean, we're definitely having a better season than last year.
For
100%. 100%. Given where we were at, this is a good achievement, but I wouldn't say we're having a great great season.
Yeah, no, better. That's all we're looking
Better.
for, right? Better.
We are looking for better. It's
Yeah,
better
technically
than Tottenham's.
tied with Aston Villa at 51 points, but better on goal differential.
Yep.
So
And we face them next, not this coming week, but the next weekend. We face them. So this will be a big big matchup. Yeah, big match for us. So
for sure.
All right, Paul, tell me about the Champions League. Which tell me about the Champions League.
Speaking of big matchups, Andy. So we're just going to kind of go through the knockout stages here, or I should say, guess the play-in to get into the knockout stages technically. So Atletico Madrid ended up beating Club Brugge 4-1, 7-4 in aggregate, so they advance. Newcastle 3-2, 9-3 aggregate over Karabag. So their dream run comes to a crashing halt. Leverkusen, they drew Olympiacos 0-0, but went through 2-0 in aggregate. Bodo Glimt, Andy, continues their Cinderella story, 2-1 over Inter, 5-2 aggregate, which is crazy. So, you're crowning Inter. They basically have, the league to focus on and the League Cup if they're still in it. They don't have Champions League to focus on anymore. So that is a crazy result. So, and we'll kind of talk about who they play next when we get to the bracket here in a little bit. Yeah. Atalanta, Andy, this was the craziest match of the play-in. They came back. They beat Dortmund 4-1 and ended up being 4-3 on aggregate, so overcoming a 2-0 deficit to advance. And, man, Dortmund had a rough week.
Yeah, they sure did. Sure did.
Yep.
Happy for Atalanta because that helps the coefficient for Italy to make sure that they're still, pulling in Champions League monies in. But yeah, really tough for Dortmund. Really tough for them.
Yeah, and then you had Juventus actually beat Galatasaray 3-2, but because of goal differential, they lost because of aggregate, they lost 7-5 overall. PSG in a tight one against AS Monaco, 2-2 draw, just barely get by 5-4 in aggregate. That was a fun one to watch as well. Yeah. And then the rematch with the whole drama around the racist comments from the Benfica player. Real Madrid did end up overcoming Benfica 2-1, 3-1 in aggregate. So, Andy, let's talk about the bracket. So I think the biggest controversy with this bracket is it seems like there's a very clear, easier half and a very clear, much harder half. And I think that happens every year. There's a tougher and an easier side to this for sure.
Yeah.
So real quick, Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea, Galatasaray, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Man City, Atalanta, Bayern Munich. That's the top half of the draw. So you have some killers in there for sure. And then in the second half, you have Newcastle, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Tottenham, Bodo Glimt, Sporting, Club de Portugal, and then Leverkusen, Arsenal. So you can probably guess which one's the easier one and which one's the harder one, Andy.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that second one's easier.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm very happy Barcelona drew over there. So, Andy, real quick, we're just going to run through this bracket. PSG, Chelsea, who are you picking?
PSG.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, 100%.
Chelsea's been too up and down. Yes, they're recently doing better against Aston Villa, but I'd say they're too up and down. You don't know what you're going to get. Yeah,
especially over two legs, for sure. I agree with you there. Galatasaray, Liverpool, Andy. This one's a little interesting.
Do you know where the first match is being played?
Ooh, I don't. Let me see here.
Because I think that'll depend. Because you got probably the two of the greatest atmospheres in European football with that.
I believe it's Anfield. And
they start at Anfield?
Yeah, and the away fans are banned after the Galatasaray violence with the Juventus fans.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
I think it's going to be Liverpool.
I agree.
Liverpool.
I agree. I feel like they don't have anything to play for in the league, so they're just going to focus on Champions League.
Well, they do. They're trying to get top four, and they still could. But
right. Okay, they have less to play for in the league.
Yeah.
It's not as high of an importance as Champions League is at this point. So
yeah, I would say so. So
I'm going Liverpool there. Cool. Real Madrid, Man City, Andy, who you got?
City.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, couldn't agree more. I mean, Real Madrid is running on absolute fumes right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yep, couldn't agree with you more there. And then Atalanta, Bayern Munich, Andy.
Oh. No, I think it's going to be Bayern. I don't
Yeah,
think Atalanta's been strong enough this year.
yeah.
So
It'd take another miracle. I don't think they have 2 in a row in them. So,
no, I don't think so.
all right, Andy, Newcastle, Barcelona.
I really want Barcelona, but if Newcastle played like they did against us, that could be a problem. For peace, Barcelona. Please.
I am also going Barcelona. I'm obviously not biased in that at all. I just think the Pedri Bernal duo right now in the midfield, I think, is scary. And I think it's going to cause a lot of teams problems coming down this last 2.5 months.
Yeah,
so,
I could see that. I can definitely see that.
That is who I'm going with there. And then we also have apparently the secret weapon against Newcastle, Marcus Rashford, who had a brace against them in the group stages.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah, he does. Yep. He does love smashing goals past what's his name? I can't remember. He's not important. So just a Newcastle goalkeeper. So
is it Nick Pope?
It's not Nick Pope. It
Aaron
is
Ramsdale.
Aaron Ramsdale. You're right. You're right.
Yep. So
just yeah.
Yep. And then on to the next Atletico Madrid Tottenham, Andy.
Oh, Atletico Madrid. But I know both teams are weird this year. But like Tottenham Tottenham's actually scary. Like there's legitimate concern for Tottenham. Yeah. They are in a relegation fight. So I don't see how.
I mean, yeah.
They're 1 point. They're 1 point above it. They're only 1 point above it.
Yes, I know. But that's the thing is, I agree with you because both Tottenham and Atletico Madrid have been poor, very poor, especially Tottenham more so than Atletico Madrid, and in terms of league standards, right? Just super all over the place.
Yeah.
But this is their shot. This is their shot. So who you got? Who you got?
No, Atletico Madrid. Yeah, there's not. I don't think there's any chance. I think Tottenham are in just such a really bad state.
Yep.
Like I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared for them because what could happen. But yeah,
for sure. I agree with you. I think Atletico Madrid has been a different team in the tournament style competitions this year, way better than they've been in the league. So I think they're making an emphasis or putting an emphasis on that. So
right.
All right, Andy, this is an interesting one. I don't think anybody had this before the Champions League started. Bodo Glimt, Sporting Clube de Portugal.
I think Bodo Glimt.
I do.
They have a good. I don't know. They just have a strong team. I think since. So I think they'll go. I think they'll go for it. Definitely.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. I'm going. The Cinderella story continues. Andy, last matchup: Bayern Leverkusen, Arsenal. Who you got? Pick with your head, not with your heart.
No, heart and head are united in this one. Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, okay.
I will always show disrespect to Arsenal at all times. I will show disrespect.
I respect the disrespect, but I'm disagreeing. I'm going Arsenal in that one.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're most likely right.
I get it, man. I get it. Trust me. So that's what we got. So we're gonna keep an eye on that bracket there. See how that shakes down. We were in agreement pretty much with everything there. So super interesting to see how that all shapes up in these next few weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see it there. But all right, Paul. I'm gonna close out this podcast.
Yes.
With our super sub and super duds. Who do you have? You can start with super sub and with super dud.
Sure.
But I'd love to hear both of yours.
Yeah, let's do it. So only one super sub, quite a few super duds. As you can tell, I'm being very positive this week, but doesn't show in this selection here. My super subs is Marc Bernal. I know he played the whole game against Atletico Madrid, but 18 years old, getting his first brace. I mean, he got his first goal for the club, Andy, just a few weeks ago. He's got 4 goals in 4 matches. Dude, you better get on the train because
Yeah.
it's leaving the station.
Ha,
I mean,
ha.
we are in such a good spot when it comes to the midfield. I mean, Pedri, 23 years old, Fermin's like 21 or 22, and Mark Bernal is 18. I mean, and then we have Gavi, who we haven't even talked about because he's been injured pretty much this entire year. I mean,
Yeah.
the core pieces that we have in this midfield, I mean, I could see this very easily being Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets, like the recreation of that for years. And I'm just so excited for it. So excited for it.
Hey,
man.
if there's one that feels like they're not getting enough playing time and they're physical enough for the Premier League, I ask them to come to United. That's all I can say.
Take Frankie de Jong. I'll give him up.
No, he doesn't want to go. He's told us many times how much he doesn't want to go.
I don't care if he wants to go. I'm ready to ship him, man. He's more expensive than he's worth right now. But yeah. Anyway.
Oh, for sure.
That super sub, super dud, man. I'm going with a couple of different teams. Real Madrid for this. There's no other word to describe it other than horrendous loss to Getafe. And then Borussia Dortmund having their 2 biggest chances of their season. They're probably their 2 biggest games in the play-in for the Champions League, and then their opportunity to crawl back into this Bundesliga race, and just missing out on both of them, man, is just it's rough. It's rough if you're a Dortmund fan.
It sure is. It sure is.
So, and then honorary mention to Kounde and Balde's injuries, like 2 in a game. It's hard to stomach. But hopefully we can survive until they're fresh and back and healthy, and hopefully they come back, and knock on wood, man. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Can't have anything else happen to anybody.
Yeah, for your sake, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, for my super sub and super duds, I'm going to start with the super duds so I can try to end on a positive, even though I'll finagle my way in to a positive. Yep. Super dud is Tottenham, because I saw where they're at on the table and saw they're 1 point. And I heard like the relegation fight. I thought it was like, okay, they're like 3 points away. No, they're 1 point away.
Off of 4 straight losses.
And don't forget, they were, I want to say, either 16th or 17th. No, I think 16th in the league last year.
Yep.
They are progressively getting worse.
Yeah.
Someone has said there's even talks that they are going to fire Igor Tudor, who they hired 2 weeks ago.
Oh my
if he doesn't get results to turn this around. This is bad.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing of like, we talked about like, you know, with Crystal Palace and Leicester City of like, you know, it's unfortunate for these smaller clubs that they can never get to the top and stay in the top. Yeah. Well, what happens when these too big to fail clubs, and I think Tottenham would be a too big to fail club.
Yeah.
Actually gets relegated. Like this is very serious. This wasn't like Everton, which Everton was like flirting with it, but like it just wasn't able to crack it. And then, you know, had relegation fights.
Yep.
Tottenham, I think Tottenham could go down.
Yeah.
I could see them going down.
Yeah.
Which is scary. Because what does that mean for us? I mean, we almost went down last season.
But you turned it around.
I don't know if we turned it around.
Andy, you're in 3rd place right now. I don't care. You're not fighting a relegation battle 2 years in a row like Tottenham is.
No, but pretty much the same team for the most part is there. We just have a little bit more firepower. And again, if we didn't have what we have with Carrick, I don't think we would be like we wouldn't be like Tottenham, but we definitely wouldn't be in 3rd.
Yeah,
but anyway, so the dud is Tottenham. The super dud's Tottenham. And for super sub, I don't know why. Maybe I'm a masochist today, but I put in the super sub that scored the goal to beat us today. When I shouldn't have. I should have gone with the player from FC Cosenza, but I forgot and I didn't check. So I'm just going to say he was the super sub because I want to show FC Cosenza some love. So there, that's the super sub that we got for for my pick. And I think, Paul, I think we're good to wrap it up there because
Yeah.
I am slowly drifting to sleep. Not because of this podcast, but maybe. So all that being said, thanks for hanging with us. We'll be back next week, guys, where I will definitely be more well rested. And hopefully Paul is in a better spirit because United is actually not playing next weekend, but Barcelona is. So
Yep.
we'll have a chance to hear how Barcelona get on. But in the meantime, I've been Andy, Paul's been Paul, and with that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.
Bye.
Bye.